sim racers, welcome to the eRacing Association, where you have the chance to win $5,000 in one of the best tournaments in all of sim racing. Green flag in the air.
Are you ready to reach the next level of sim racing? The eRacing Association's epic Omega Cup Series lets you win big.
Is he gonna throw the block?
Racing with ERA lets you compete for huge cash prizes, get exclusive merch, exclusive sim hardware pricing, and potentially turn your virtual dreams into reality. Feel the rush as you race door to door against sim racers just like yourself, all from the comfort of your own home.
Straight away, they're an idiot. Oh, they're wrecking! They're wrecking!
Join now to get your membership and experience all of the excitement that the eRacing Association has to offer at www.eragaming.gg.
Celebration, he hangs on.
Son, this is a Navy base, not a playground.
Sir, have a look.
So you think you got what it takes to fly with the Navy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll give you one shot. Bring him in.
Hey, can I get another cocktail?
Gentlemen, you are here because NASCAR wants you to have a street race on this base.
Hey, this is pretty sick, huh?
Oh, you think this is sick? If you want to race here, you got to show honor, courage, and commitment. You boys think you know speed? You haven't felt real speed. They're gonna flip you. They're gonna twist you. And just when you think you've reached your limit, they're gonna punch a hole in the sky and drag you with them.
Hey, Clyde, you gonna do some of that pilot shit? Can't be any worse than you're driving. Sick bird, Peaches.
Speaking of sick,
The Bernard Carpenter's not gonna like that. Hey, boys, I feel the need. I feel the need. Seriously, guys. Need for speed. Speed. Does this thing go any faster? Oh, shit. Hell yeah, boy.
Not bad up there, gentlemen. But let's see how you handle this next mission. This is NASCAR street course, and that is the Navy security force. You make it to the finish line without getting caught, and you have my respect.
look at this turn right
We need to split up.
Let's just steal one of these fucking helicopters over here.
Dude, we're so done.
We're screwed.
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. Why did we not bring SDG? Guys, I got an idea. Lights on! You think we can outrun them?
It ain't the car, it's the driver.
Man, this course is sick. Boys, we're almost to the finish line. We got him! We lost him! We got him!
Gentlemen, we set the standard, and you matched it. And I am pleased to say that you belong here with us on this sacred ground.
Let's get to work on bringing NASCAR to the Navy.
So we've been in Charlotte all week long. It's incredible. The whole industry has really been super supportive for NASCAR 25, and we've had 8 or 9 drivers trying the game, and you know, to us, it's just another step in the process of making a great game, right? You want to get their feedback, you want to implement some of the things that they give you pointers on. So enjoy some of the clips of these guys playing the game and just kind of what we went through this week. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We just got done playing NASCAR 25. I would say it's probably the most realistic Xbox PS5 game that I've played. I grew up playing all the old games through my childhood, and it was pretty awesome to be able to kind of get on again, and looking forward to when it comes out.
I mean, the physics, I used to play a lot of games, and NASCAR games, and the physics on this game is above and beyond all of them. So initial thoughts are really good.
I was blown away by how realistic the game was, and just going through the couple tracks that I ran, like seeing how true the repave was at Iowa, and the new asphalt lines up with what we have in real life. The grip levels were accurate, impressive.
It's really cool, like seeing myself in a video game. That means a lot for me, because like I never imagined like saw me in a video game, and made me feel like the first time when I jumped in a car, it was the same feeling.
Well, the first time I see myself was, I mean, you dream about those moments, right? I mean, growing up and playing video games, like I said, 2K or anybody, and playing as LeBron James or doing something, right? You want to take your my player to the top of the, and have the overall, the 99 overall, you know? So now I get to do that for myself. I'm gonna be on that game 24/7.
For the first time ever, there's a whole new level of authenticity to the NASCAR game with the actual track scans and the car physics, which is going to bring fans closer to the sport.
You can definitely tell that iRacing had a significant impact on this game, from the driving characteristics to the audio, the visuals. You can tell the footprint that iRacing had on this platform, and it's a great thing because it just shows how next level video games can be.
iRacing is huge, so just the opportunity for it to go to a game console is also just a great opportunity for people that love racing or just trying to do it for fun and maybe trying to get into it.
I think the first game that I probably played was NASCAR 05. Got that game, actually had it on PSP at the time, and then played it on console as well, so that's really how I got started, and my friends said that I took the game way too seriously.
As a kid growing up, I was a big-time NASCAR video gamer and would love getting to explore all the different tracks and see what they're about, and going to Pocono and realizing it's a triangle, and how Loudon, New Hampshire is really flat, and just seeing all the variety of different racetracks.
This game from the driver's perspective is what it needs to be. I mean, myself in my own career, there's just that energy level when you walk into the racetrack and you hear the engines and practice starts. There's just that feel that you get when you get in your race suit, you hop in the truck.
I mean, I'll never forget it, my first ever time at Daytona, when I rolled into the garage and they put my car on 4 jack stands, and they raise up the hood, and all you hear is the guns going on the tires, the guys working on the car, the spotter crew chief talking. Like, it took me away because it felt like I've been in that situation before, and it's actually was like I'm actually living this moment that I played in the game a million of times. So now to be in this game even more elevated, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's definitely huge.
I can't thank these drivers enough. This week has been super special for all of us to come down here and shoot this content and get their feedback. We've had a long relationship with a lot of these guys, and I'm so excited. Even ones we've just met this trip. The passion that they have and the excitement that they have to get this game out and in the market is super exciting. In case you haven't heard, October 14th, that's our launch date. So we're going to open pre-orders, and we're going to get you that gameplay trailer that you guys are all begging for about a month before. So stay tuned. We got a lot more information coming on the game for NASCAR 25.
Visit NASCAR25.com for more information on the game, and make sure you follow us on social media at NASCAR25Game.
Car, great team, go execute. Start time, we know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight, between the walls. Time to turn the intensity up. Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The after-checks will count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it. Does he have enough? Holy cow! A dominant performance.
You're gonna say no, baby. Let's go!
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
We gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Drivers, start your engines.
This is what this sport's all about right here. Big moments like this.
That was a dangerous shot.
The gate opens, all bets are off, and you better react.
Like, this is a picture-perfect driving.
This is what makes the difference.
Well, there you have it! This crowd just got to witness greatness!
This is what this sport's all about right here. Big moments like this.
That was a dangerous shot.
The gate opens, all bets are off, and you better react. Like, this is a picture-perfect driving.
This is what makes the difference.
Well, there you have it! This crowd just got to witness greatness!
Hey guys, I'm Indy next champion Dennis Hauger, and you're watching Drafting the Circuits.
Smoke and Doug. Round 2. Doug leaves first. And a great race goes to Doug. Oh, they're into each other. A big wreck on the top end. Doug Kalitta won the race, and the car came across the track, and they both got together in the shutdown area. And we will stand by. A scary moment here at Maple Grove. I do not know what happened. Doug Kalitta's car went through the shutdown area, and as the parachutes came out, that car hung a left, and the two cars got into each other, and they both made a move over towards the wall. And I will await a report from the top end and the safety safari. There's Tony. And that's Doug Kalitta, who Tony is down there with his arm around. Man. What happened there?
Obviously a scary moment. Two of our brightest stars here in Top Fuel collided in the finish line. Doug, you got the win line past the finish line. It looked from what we saw that the wheel went out.
Yes, the left rear is down or blue or whatever, and so yeah, it was just unfortunate. Really, it just so happened so quick that there was nothing I could really do. So just glad we're going to the, we'll drag our other car out and see if we can keep this thing going here. But fortunately, Tony and I are good, so that's really the main thing.
Doug, I don't think I've ever seen you in the years I've been following the sport been in an incident like that. Was that the first time you've had an encounter in a Top Fuel car?
That's probably the worst one that I've had, but yeah, it's been very fortunate over the years, and it's all part of it.
We're all glad to hear that you're okay.
Thanks.
Drivers, start your
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Drafting the Circuits, your weekly, unless you count last week, look at everything going on in the motorsport world. Your regular host Frank can't be with us this weekend or this week, going through a few issues, but the doctors, I'm sure, are making him right. Joined today by Lee in a very cowboy. Western look there. He tried the hat on earlier. It was not a good look. And Jessica there in Indianapolis. I just quickly before we get into it, obviously, I say Frank's not with us, but I know we're all sending our best wishes to us. Donna, Jessica, you're very close to Frank. You've met him a number of times and spent a lot of time with him on the your INDYCAR support forums.
Yep, Frank. Hope you're able to listen, buddy. We are thinking about you and pulling for you, and we'll see you back here soon.
Christ, we want him to get
Don't
better.
worry.
Don't make him endure this as well. God.
Yeah, don't worry. Richard
Bad
is not
enough.
going to steal your seat.
So moving on, we unfortunately were able to weren't able to record last week. I hope everybody else was able to fill their hour of intellectual motorsport debate with something equally as entertaining. But so we've got 2 weeks to cover here. So we'll, seeing as I'm hosting, I'm going to kick off with Formula One. So screw you. We had Monza a couple of weeks ago. We had Verstappen dominant win at Monza. Really un-Verstappen and un-Red Bull like performance. Really.
Hold up, yeah. Oh, the producer's here. Oh, you know you done.
Marcus had it at the bottom. God damn it. Frank,
Richard is not stealing anybody's seat. Like, it's going to be available.
I
when
know.
you're
Right,
better.
supporters,
Like,
thank you.
fine.
Moving on. I've got look, it's on my list. It's on my list. I got my list. It's on my list. Right, supporters, thank you. What do they say about don't work with children and animals? I don't know which one I'd be classed as, but don't work with children and animals. Right, eRacing, our supporters. Jesse Iwuji and Emmit Smith. The Fox NASCAR San Diego race, where we'll be next year. The NASCAR 2025 trailer for their new iRacing game. I believe that was shown in the introductions here. And also our friends at the $1 Million Podcast. Thank you for believing in us. Somebody's got to, and putting us in your for the number of awards you've given us. It's greatly received. Thank you.
Your faith
meanwhile,
is clearly misplaced.
And one other thing before we jump right into racing.
Yes.
So Sinister One Productions coming in October is launching a new podcast, hence the background behind me. When the dust settles, myself and Z-Man Frank will be covering professional bull riding starting in mid-October. And then we'll be doing it on a weekly basis come December when the PBR visits Manchester, New Hampshire, and then in January when they make a stop at the Boston Garden. For the first time ever, there's going to be a dirt sport in the Garden. So it's pretty cool. I mean, bulls in Boston, what can go wrong, right?
Lee, that is awesome. I know a grand total of absolutely nothing about professional bull riding, so I look forward to watching your show and learning from the experts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I must admit, I have been to a PBR event in North. I don't think it was the main tier. I think it was the second tier. PBR Blue, is it, or something?
Yeah, it had to be the Pendleton Whiskey Series, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as a British guy growing up in the UK, it was an experience. Let's leave it.
I was going to say, you are the last person on this panel that I would have expected to be at that event.
It was an experience, as I say.
And actually, Lee said one more thing, but I have one more thing. I was actually at a work event this evening, and I snuck away to record this podcast, and my illustrious coworkers may or may not be downstairs from me watching right now. So shout out to the awesome folks at Core and Maine.
Hi, coworkers.
Yep, I hope you got your resume up to date anyway.
Yeah.
No, hello, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. So, back to the racing, where we were a few minutes ago. Formula One. Verstappen in Monza. Yeah, dominant victory by Max Verstappen. A very unusual performance in a way by Verstappen at Monza. We don't associate Red Bull victories with Monza, even in their heyday. They've always been a very aerodynamically efficient car, which hasn't always necessarily suited Monza layout with its long straights and high top speeds, but they managed to get it done. Again, proving that Verstappen can sometimes drive a car that nobody else is capable of. Very, very, very dominant win.
Just ask his teammates.
Behind, well,
Yeah, sorry.
and it was a little telling actually, and a little, I don't want to use the word sad, but post race when Red Bull were doing their big sort of victory team photo, and Verstappen's there with the trophy and everything, and Yuki's sort of off at the side in the wings sort of thing. Max is like, "Come on, Yuki, come on, you can come in here and celebrate," and he's like very shy about it. He's like, "No, no, no, that's not." It must be very difficult for these guys that, excuse me, for any teammate of Max who's not performing at his level to enjoy the success that Red Bull's having, because they know that it's a lot of it is down to Max. So another interesting week for them, and a fantastic performance. So we'll see what comes for them in Baku next weekend. But following on meanwhile, still in Monza, we had a very interesting scenario. It'd be interesting to get your views on it. A very interesting scenario between the two McLaren drivers. So during one of the rounds of pit stops, I think the only round of pit stops actually for McLaren, they one-stopped the race. They made the decision they offered, as Norris was leading on track, they offered him the first or second stop of the two drivers, and he openly said, "Hey, look, stop Piastri first, so he can get to avoid the undercut by the car in fourth." So Oscar pitted first, got the really good start, came back out. Then the next lap, Norris stopped, which is typically against what you'd normally do when you're racing in that order, and had a poor pit stop. I think it was left rear, got stuck, cost him 3 or 4 seconds in the pits, and came out behind Piastri. The team orders were then for Norris and Piastri to swap positions, and their justification, I guess, was that normally it's the same pit crew. It's not like NASCAR or INDYCAR or one of the other series where you have a pit crew per car. It's the same pit crew, so it could happen to either of them. It's not like one pit crew's better than the other. It could have happened to either of them, and their justification was, it was our mistake. As a team, it wasn't a driver mistake. Therefore, the driver shouldn't be punished for that. And in a very utopian world, I think that's probably the right way of looking at it. But it certainly raised a few eyebrows when they swapped those positions back. I know that Verstappen had some comments on the radio between himself and his race engineers on that move. I wonder what you guys think about McLaren's decision to swap positions.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We know that team orders are a thing, right? And I think Piastri's response on the radio was also very telling, to where he sort of said, like, if that's what you want me to do, I'll do it. But like, I thought we were racing here, and like, slow pit stops are part of racing, right? I mean, that's something that any guy, any crew can experience on any day, and it can blow your race. We see it all the time. So yeah, I don't know. It's odd for me. I think it makes me wonder, like, what is the precedent that is being set, right? Like, where do you draw the line on this sort of like you said, a utopian world, right? If we're trying to be fair to all the drivers and whatever, like, where do you draw the line on making a call like that? I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I don't love it. I don't love it.
No.
Yeah.
So to react to that, my take on it was Norris could have quite easily, if Norris was being an asshole, basically, he could have backed Piastri up and had his stop, and then backed Piastri into the guys behind and made him lose points and positions if he'd wanted to, quite easily. Yeah. So for Norris to do what he did, he, in a way, sacrificed his championship lead to help maintain, or his championship deficit to help maintain the team's performance. So that was my take on it. Now, whether that's a valid argument, I don't know, because I say Norris could have been, oh, screw you, I'm ahead of him. I'm going to back him up into Leclerc or whoever it was in fourth. Leclerc can get ahead of him, I'm going to, gain an extra 2 points in the championship. Could have quite easily done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've heard that situation happen as well, right? I mean, there have been situations where a team order has come down on the radio and the driver has just like pretended not to hear it and held station. Like, Piastri could have reacted that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think also Lando's
on both of them for like having the team's best interest at heart, but also at the end of the day, like they were running second and third and they still finished second and third. Them swapping positions didn't make any difference to the team's point total at the end of the day. No. So I don't know. It seems like a weird, I don't know. It seems like a weird, like you pick your battles, right? And to me, like for that to have at the end of the day, no net impact on the team, like why even do it?
Yeah. Although it's an individual sport, because there's one driver per car, it's still a team sport. There's 2 cars per team, and the race, and this is to me, this is an odd philosophy to have as an American, because that just doesn't happen in America. If you were at a teammate at, JGR, it's whoever's in front is leading the way. And that's the American way kind of thing. Over in Europe and in European sports, individual sports is very different. You look at the Tour de France, there's 7 guys on a bike team and 6 of those guys are supporters for one man, one person in front, and that's just the way those kind of things work on the European side of the house. So that's all.
I can see too that there's a difference, though. Right, to Richard's point, like there is one pit stall, there is one pit crew. Yep. So I think maybe that played a role in it too, because like if they had pitted in the opposite order, would that have happened to Piastri instead of Norris? Like,
if they had both come down at the same time, if there was 2 pit crews, what would have been the outcome?
Right.
We don't know, because that's not how F1 operates, and you gotta, I think it's part of the racing thing. So
like I said, I think it'll be interesting to see what precedent this sets, and will this, potentially come back to bite them down the road?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it's it was an interesting decision. It almost makes it sound like too in Formula One, and the controversy behind it, going back to the Ferrari days with Schumacher and the like. It's almost like Zach Brown's trying to create this sort of ideological scenario where he can sit on his high horse and go, well, we didn't use team orders to win our drivers, titles and all that sort of stuff, which I sort of get, but it's a little bit almost goes in the opposite direction again. It's like, this is a cutthroat business. This is this isn't like hand holding and making, papier-mâché dolls. This is the real thing, and get on with it, boys. So it'll be interesting to see how, if that does affect the dynamics within McLaren. I don't think it will. I think that both of the drivers bought into it, and the decision to pit Norris or to pit Piastri first wasn't a team decision. That was Norris's suggestion. So he, so it wasn't as if the team said, hey, you've got to pit first. And then, it was like, hey, look, pit Oscar first, then I'll pit. So, well, we'll see if that impacts their rivalry going forward. But, so far they've been pretty clean, pretty good racing between the 2 of them. So hopefully it doesn't affect how they go about their business. And we'll see what happens in Baku, which is where we are this weekend. The high speed streets of Baku, pretty crazy place to go racing. I'm sure when the whatever ancient empire it was that built the castle in Baku never thought for one moment there'd be cars driving around the ancient ruins at nearly 200 miles an hour. Makes for a pretty spectacular weekend. And hopefully we'll continue to have some good racing. For a while there, that was of course Sergio Perez's playground. He seemed to have everybody beating there, and of course he's now going to be watching from the wings. Waiting to get back into his Cadillac for 2026. So that actually, to use a Frankism, segues quite nicely into our INDYCAR topics. Of course, INDYCAR is currently in its off season, but on the Cadillac side, we've had the announcement that Colton Herta will be joining the Cadillac team as the test driver.
Test and
Not the
development
reserve driver, the test driver.
Correct.
So they'll have it. So he won't even. I don't think at the moment he's even eligible to stand in. For either Checo or Valtteri Bottas if they're unable to compete, because he still doesn't have the super license points. But he will be able to act as a development and test driver. And I think doing a Friday test session gets him a certain number of points, and then doing some winter testing as well will get him a certain number of points. So
and
maybe by the end of the year.
Presumably he will also be racing in F2. That has not officially been confirmed yet, but presumably that is part of the deal as well. And it remains to be seen what team he would do that racing with. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to. Listen, hand up, I have never in my life watched an F2 race.
They're good.
But I sure as shit will be.
Yep. They're fun. I'll tell you, it's a bit like watching an Xfinity race in NASCAR. Sometimes they can be as good, if not better. It's quite telling, isn't it, that a couple of weeks before this announcement, when the rumors first came about that he'd be doing F2 next year, he I'm not going to do a silly little series like that. No, I don't need to justify myself to anybody. Here's a really big check. Now you can justify yourself to somebody. Okay, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like you got to respect the guts, though, I think that it takes to, ultimately Colton is chasing his dream, a dream that he's had since he was a kid. He wants to make it to Formula One. He wants to compete at that highest level. And, he's had opportunities in the past. He's had things that have not materialized, that have fallen through at the last minute, opportunities, the Sauber deal, and I think there was something with AlphaTauri at some point that didn't materialize. And, I think you got to think that at some point, like, he had just resigned himself to the fact that, like, the moment's passed, like, this isn't going to happen for me. And, now at a point where he is so comfortable, right, in where he is in the IndyCar series, in a pretty cushy position with Andretti Global. He's got a competitive car this season. The results didn't necessarily speak to that, but we know that he can fight for poles, he can fight for podiums, he could be in the championship hunt. To leave all of that behind on
it's a brave decision.
What is frankly not a guarantee, right? That he's even gonna make it to Formula One. And then if it all crashes and burns and he wants to come back to IndyCar, also not a guarantee that there's going to be a seat here. So, got to respect it. And, I think we've talked about before the history of Americans and drivers from the IndyCar and the Champ Car world going over into Formula One has been checkered at best. Not to put any pressure on young Mr. Herta, but like, I feel like IndyCar's reputation is sort of on the line, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I'm certainly rooting for him, and I imagine that from that perspective, a lot of the IndyCar paddock, a lot of his former competitors will be rooting for him as well, right? Because they want him to show well on their behalf. So
and I think the adversity Colton has had trying to get to the series and the F1 main stage, he's had the opportunities, he's had the setbacks, he's had those adversities, will make his trip that much sweeter when he gets there and he can actually get behind the wheel. Not like and I'm not pointing fingers, excuse me, where the car is basically handed to him because of who he is and who his daddy is. You know, he's grinding.
Well, he was handed to him in INDYCAR. That's, you know.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But you know, listen, F1's a totally different beast. His dad has no affiliation with that, you know. So I think it's going to be a little bit. He's hustling. He's got to work for this seat. He's got to work for this spot. I don't think there'll be any doubt that he won't make it. It's just not going to be handed to him. Here you go.
Right.
No, for sure. No,
and I don't think there's an expectation either that he will show up and like immediately start winning races. Like there's going to be an adjustment.
And if he has that expectation, he's going to be sorely disappointed because, I mean, okay, the only similarities they have is they're open wheels. Nothing else is similar. Like nothing else is similar. 12-year-old car to a car that's brand new.
Yeah, my understanding is that the tire, the Pirelli tire, is really like a big difference to what they're used to in IndyCar, and you know that controls a lot of things. That controls that bite, that controls the handling, and you know it's going to be an adjustment for him. But I think, you know, I think Richard, I know you disagree with this, but I feel like Colton, of all of the current IndyCar, well, look, I mean, put aside your Alex Palou's and your Pato Awards, like the guys who have been down this path recently, right? But I feel like Colton has that sort of like adaptability and definitely the drive and the passion and the balls to make this decision and go do it. Like he may very well have the driving style, right, that is well suited to that car and that tire and those courses, certainly, which he's going to be learning new tracks. And that's going to be a challenge as well. He's going to be, you know, again, presuming that he's actually participating in F2 races, like competing against guys who know these tracks and have been doing this, right? So it's definitely a steep learning curve, but I believe in him. I do, and I'm excited.
And for sure, I'd love to see him go there and be competitive, and you know, for them to be able to put US driver in an F1 seat that's competitive and consistent competitive. But I just think that the historical data doesn't record for it particularly well. You know, I can't think of anybody, certainly in the modern era, you know, the last 20 years who've done it successfully. It was Montoya and Villeneuve were probably the two exceptions. But back then, when they were doing it in the 90s, the INDYCAR Formula 1 gap was far different. They weren't trying to tune programs and operations for each of them. Now, where we are today, they're very, very unique. You can see the Formula 1 cars and some of the guys who drive them, you know, but they're not being competitive with anything else. So we'll see. We will see. I mean, it might just happen when it's race and the Nürburgring last weekend and didn't even win his class. So what was that said about it? You know, all the guys that are now better than him? No. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes on. And you know, really hope it's successful. But if I'm going to put my $5 on whether it makes it Formula 1, I'm not going to waste money on Spain.
Well, Richard, I understood approximately 5% of what you said.
So I don't know what going on.
Are you in a Star Wars movie by chance? Are we like going? Are we Return of the Jedi right now? Because I sure feel like it.
I'm really glad it's not just me. I thought I was having a stroke there for a minute.
I did too. I'm all like,
yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're terrible.
No, it's not. It's not any good. So I'll just I'll jump in here. Our next IndyCar topic is around the 2026 schedule. You know, as Richard said, we are into the off season now. Silly season is in full swing. But now we have a schedule for 2026 and we have races to look forward to, and we had some surprises as well. I gotta say, well, first of all, in a surprise to absolutely no one, I have thoughts about this schedule. I do. And my initial thought is I am pumped. I love this schedule. I give it a 9 out of 10. For me, really the one glaring miss obviously is Mexico City.
Yep.
Which we already knew was not happening, at least for 2026. Now, look, I do believe that we will get there eventually. But, for reasons, it didn't make sense for this upcoming season. And that's a bummer. That's a bummer for sure. But in my opinion, there are enough positives on the schedule that offset the loss of Mexico City. And I will walk us through a few of my highlights.
Please.
First of all, starting off the season with 4 races in 5 weekends. That is awesome. Super important to get that momentum rolling right from the get. This year we had St. Pete, and then we had a 3-week break before Thermal, which I know how everyone, except those of us who were there, felt about Thermal. And then we had another 3-week break before Long Beach. So, pre-season, there were those awesome commercials. Remember those really cool commercials with Newgarden and Pillow and Award? I think that did generate some buzz, and folks tuned into St. Pete. But then, we're 6 weeks down the road, and some of those folks may have fallen off by then. So kudos to IndyCar for solving that problem in 2026 and getting us rolling right out of the gate.
And putting one of those races in conjunction with another premier series.
Yes.
Like, that's just a beautiful marketing strategy, teaming up with NASCAR for the March 7th race in Phoenix. Like, that is just, it's brilliant.
It's brilliant. We've done things like this in the past.
We have.
But it's been a while. We've also raced at Phoenix Raceway in the past, but it's been a while. I probably most of the current IndyCar drivers have not raced at Phoenix. So it's, for a lot of those guys, it's going to be like another new track on the calendar, which is always exciting. And yeah, like you said, doubleheader with NASCAR, which is incredible. We don't know many details yet about the actual, like the mechanics of the weekend schedule. But yeah, I mean, this crossover is a huge opportunity to grab new viewers both ways, right? I mean, both ways. I think this could benefit everyone. Yeah.
And the question comes with that is because Fox covers NASCAR in the first half of the season. Fox is now part ownership of IndyCar series. Is this a coincidence that Fox is saying, "Hey, we're going to put another series on the track with you in the same weekend and boost viewership for the Fox programming booth"?
Yeah.
I mean,
not a coincidence at all. Yeah.
Not a coincidence at all. And again, brilliant marketing strategy, I think, by Fox, by Indy, and by NASCAR.
Love it. Love it. Next, we've got a brand new race, brand new market on the streets of Arlington. And we knew this one was coming. This event had already been announced. But I got to tell you,
Arlington, Texas, or Arlington, Virginia? That's a question.
Texas.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Sorry.
No,
yes,
it's okay.
Texas.
It's the wrong one. Glad you mentioned that.
Is Darth Vader back again?
He is. He is. You shut up. We can't understand you anyway.
That's true.
So yeah. I was at the, I had the great privilege to attend the IndyCar Victory Lap celebration last night to sort of, reflect on the spectacular 2025 season that we had. And Doug Bowles, president of IndyCar and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, talked a little bit about this Arlington street race. And I got to tell you, Doug was so excited when he was talking about this race that it got me excited. And I'm not typically like a huge fan of attending street races. Love to watch them on TV. But for me, like I've not loved the street races that I have attended in person, but I have this one circled on my calendar. Like I want to go to this race. It really sounds like this is going to be a marquee event. There's a lot of different support and investment coming together from the Cowboys and from the Rangers, which I'm not sure that we knew prior to the schedule announcement. And it really sounds like this is an event that they are building up to be on the calendar for years to come, which I think is really exciting. So, and yeah, I mean, like I said, brand new market, like you can't go wrong, right? It's a greenfield. So yeah. And guess what, y'all? That only gets us to the end of March. That is how stacked this schedule is. One other thing I do want to talk about is Nashville. Now, I know, I read the internets. I know the people are already whining about the season finale moving back to Laguna Seca instead of being on an oval. But I'm going to tell you why that is. The series had an opportunity to put a race into the prime time TV slot following the FIFA World Cup final. Let me say that again.
Yeah. Everybody be too drunk to watch the race after that, or
whatever. An INDYCAR race will be led in by the World Cup final, which in 2022, I had to look this up today, and I didn't trust it, so I looked this up like multiple different places. In 2022, that match was watched by 25 million people in the United States. So let me ask you this. Which race would you rather have in that slot? Laguna Seca or Nashville?
Laguna Seca.
Stop it. Nashville. This race was an absolute banger last year. And in 2026, it is going to be, first of all, it's going to be even longer, which I think may have gotten lost in all of the excitement around the schedule. They have lengthened this race to 400 miles. And because of the time slot, it's going to finish under the lights. Massive win for INDYCAR. And Lee, to your point earlier, I think this is really an example of Fox's partnership and investment in the series. I think this is really coming to bear already, right? Like that World Cup lead-in could bring an unprecedented number of eyeballs onto this broadcast. But there's always a but. It is up to the on-track product to hold the attention of the owners of those eyeballs, right? Like we don't want them to watch the first 10 races and then be bored and turn it off, right? Like the on-track product still has to be good. But for my money, like a short oval under the lights, that is the best chance that we have to hold the attention of at least a percentage of those 25 million people. And then like the cherry on top, there's still more races left in the season for those new fans to tune into. So yeah, your season finale isn't on an oval, but you don't need momentum after your season finale. You need momentum earlier in the year. And I love that we've got the ovals and the new races earlier in the season. Get those new eyeballs on the sport and hold on to them.
Yeah.
Keep them coming back.
And you're going to see a lot of cross promotion with this race in the finals in FIFA. You know, you're going to see drivers cutting commercials with the football players.
Thank you.
The football players returning the favor and cutting commercials. You know, you're going to see football players in the backseat of the two-seater. You're going to see it.
Will they fit? Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry. European football players.
Wrong football, thank you.
They're like jockeys in horse racing. Don't tell Richard though. They're really small. Yeah. So I mean, the lead up to this, Fox is going to absolutely capitalize on that cross promotion, just like they're going to capitalize on the cross promotion with NASCAR going into Phoenix. You know, this is very well calculated, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I'm looking. I'm going to love watching the race, but I think I'm going to look more forward to the lead ups and this cross promotion that's coming, because they're going to be out of the park. Fox is going to dump a boatload of money into both of these things.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, to me, like, this schedule is really, it's a signal, right? It's an indication that, like, Fox is committed to IndyCar. And I also think that it shows us that the IndyCar leadership now is more open to change and trying new things than maybe they have been in the past. You know, I think the series is really poised for growth in 2026. The schedule proves that we've got some really awesome opportunities. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to be a slam dunk, right? Like I said, the on-track product still has to deliver.
Yeah.
The championship battle still has to be exciting. The drivers and the storylines still have to be engaging.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's still work to be done, but just from a schedule perspective, like, I am super encouraged by what I'm seeing here, and, like, I want it to be 2026 tomorrow. Like, let's get on with it.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think the drivers are going to realize this, and, you know, the teams, and it's going to be a really stellar year. I think it's going to be a flagship year for IndyCar. This is going to be a very big turning point for the sport. And I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, the drivers are going to get the amp. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel that energy that what Fox is bringing to the table and what, you know, the sport is doing, and they're going to feed off of that energy, guaranteed. And they're going to put their best foot forward for not just the fans in the stands, but for the fans on their couches and the indoor, outdoor lawn furniture as well. So
yeah, another great segue. Thank you, Lee. Talking about the drivers, right? So we are in the silly season.
Yep.
And there is still a lot of silly shit happening. And I wanted to just sort of check in on the silly season. Nothing officially, you know, new to report here, but I will say that folks who are in the know are saying that a driver announcement should be coming yet this week. But I gotta tell y'all, I no longer feel like I can predict what that's going to be. I don't know. It could be Malukas to Penske. It could be VK to Penske, right? Our own fearless leader, Frank Santoroski, floated that idea a couple weeks ago, and I thought he was off his rocker. But since then, I have heard several other folks suggest that same thing, that maybe Rinus VK is more suited, more ready to go into that Penske ride than David Malukas would be. I don't know. I have also heard VK linked to Juncos Hollinger, which I don't like one bit, because that's my dude Connor's seat and he can't have it. But all that to say, like, I don't know, y'all. I'm done guessing, and we're just going to have to wait and see.
All right, fearless leader Richard, where are we off to next? What racing division?
No.
I think the Cantina singers said that was NASCAR?
Yeah.
Or NASCAR. Okay. So
Yeah,
going to NASCAR.
Yeah.
Going to NASCAR. Bristol was this past weekend. The big 2-0 won that one, pulled it out. Other than Chris Bell winning the race, the big talk of the town was tire performance at Bristol. Goodyear has, and I will say this, Richard can just nod his head or yes or no, but no offense to Goodyear, but they really need to do something with the tires on that, on the concrete. Richard says it's maybe. We saw it. I saw tire degradation at Dover that just didn't sit well with me with the Goodyear. Saw it here at Bristol, and this has been kind of an ongoing theme at Bristol. So I don't really know what the answer is, but yeah. And we lost 4 drivers already out of the championship race. We lost SVG, which unfortunately, I was rooting for SVG. It was a long shot.
To be
but
expected. Yeah.
I think the consensus across the board was that, you know, unless there was a road course in the last 10 races, SVG was probably not going to, how do I say this politely, further much past the first round in the championship. Again, it's expected. It's just, you know, SVG needs to get comfortable going around in circles and not lefties and righties. So I forget who the other drivers were that got dropped. Yep, Alex Bowman is out. Surprising, but not surprising. And Richard,
can you hear me now any better?
Oh my God!
Yes!
Rich,
wow!
Shit! I never
okay,
thought
so say something.
Never thought
now you need to say something.
Accent. Say something what useful, or just say something in general.
Help us, because we can't remember.
So, on the topic of the tires, I think it's a very difficult situation for Goodyear because, as they said at the race, you know, they've been asked by NASCAR and the teams and the fans to create a tire that drops off, that, you know, creates you know, exciting racing, and it's very difficult to do that with the climatic conditions that we see at Bristol. Bristol is pretty unique when it comes to the temperature variance and temperature range. You can go to Bristol in, you know, earlier in the day in Bristol it was 90 degrees, you know, and then in the evening it's down at 60 degrees. So they've got to create a tire that, if you notice, the tire drop off and tire wear was far more of an issue at the start of the race than it was towards the end of the race. So
yeah, that's what got me. I was not watching at the beginning of the race, but I hopped on Twitter after, like, I mean, it was like 25 or 30 laps. And the first thing I saw on Twitter was a picture of just like shredded tires coming off of a car. And I was like, this race started 10 minutes ago. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, and it was purely that, you know, so it's a very difficult situation for that Goodyear find themselves in. You know, how did they've been asked to do one thing and they've done it, and now everybody complains about it. If you'd gone there and they'd built a tire that would have been bulletproof for the whole 500 laps, then it would have been a procession. So where do you draw the line on that? I think there's definitely stuff that Goodyear can do, and I know that they are testing potentially a new Bristol tire coming up shortly at the track. So yeah, we'll see what they can come up with, but I wouldn't solely point the blame to Goodyear on this one.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's a very fine line. It's a balance that has to be struck, and yeah, I mean, it puts them in a, like you said, just an awkward position, I think. Yeah. But Richard, who else got eliminated? Please help.
So we had Alex Berber, Josh Berry, Austin Dillon, and SVG.
There we go.
And Austin Dillon, you know, he got booted from the championship, but he flew right over to Greensboro, North Carolina this past weekend because he and his boss are part owners in a PBR team, rodeo team. So really? That's what I want to say. He probably wasn't on his best because he was more concerned about his PBR team and their homestand this past weekend in Greensboro, North Carolina. So
certainly, yeah,
absolutely, yeah. It's like Austin Dillon's pretty much the whole team was there, and Richard Childress was there, and it was kind of funny because they spent a lot of
the fact that he's shit. But yeah, anyway.
Oh,
hey, listen, he's got the money to buy a team in PBR.
Yeah, I worked for too long with Austin, and he's not my favorite.
Yeah,
driver. But anyway, moving on. New Hampshire this weekend, Loudon, Lee's stomping ground.
Yep. Got to say hi to Doug Mercado from Trackside Track Days for Vets. He's in Loudon right now for the weekend.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep, he's. I think he checked in earlier tonight on the broadcast.
Brilliant.
Just want to say hi to him and have a great weekend with your team this weekend. I know he does a lot for the vets up there at Loudon, and he's going to have a spectacular showing as always.
Yeah, no, fantastic work those guys do, and fantastic venue, Loudon. Should be a really, really good weekend. See if JJR can continue their dominance of the playoffs, having won the first 3 races of the playoffs. Sweep that, because everything resets itself now.
Yep.
But they put themselves in a really strong position with the momentum going forward. You look at it, and Hendrick, really appeared to be on the back foot. They can't really get any momentum going at the moment. And yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as long as you're in the championship 4. But yeah, sometimes you need a bit of momentum. You need a little bit of something going your way, and they're just not getting it at the moment with the 2 guys. It wouldn't be surprised if one, if not 2 of the Hendrick Motorsport drivers falls out of the playoff in the round of 12.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We talked about
I have 2 things.
I
have 2 things I want to say. First of all, I hate the playoffs. I hate it. I hate this format. There's been discussion about INDYCAR going to something like a playoffs, and Lord help me if that ever happens, because I don't know. I hate it. So there's that. But we did not talk about, because we skipped the show last week, we did not talk about Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway, at Gateway, where Denny Hamlin won.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
What I want to say about this is, I'm following NASCAR now. I understand a lot more thanks to you experts. I did attend the race at Gateway. Didn't know what was going on most of the time. When I go to an IndyCar race, I have the app, I have the timing and scoring, I have the radio broadcast in my ears. I did not prepare for the NASCAR race, so I was really just flying blind, and not recommended. 0 out of 10. I didn't know what was going on, and their damn scoring pylon thing was always wrong. Anyways, so I don't know all of the backstory here, but I know that everybody hates Denny Hamlin. And I knew that was the case. And so then he won, and I was like looking around at the guys next to me, and I was like, oh, do we boo? Like, are we going to boo now? Like, what happens? My God, I have never heard a crowd like turn against a human being the way that happened there. Somebody's going to have to explain this to me. Why do we hate Denny Hamlin?
Because somebody's got to hate somebody.
Yeah.
So in the UK, we have these things called pantomime villains, and it's like a joke villain, and that's exactly what Denny Hamlin is. The only reason people hate him is because they've got nobody else to hate. Yep. And yeah, he says a few things that rubs people up the wrong ways, whatever.
Well, but he's also, at this point, he's playing into it, right?
Oh, of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he does, yeah.
It's all... I did love his quote after, of course, he heard the booing. He was there on the front street. He heard it. And he said something to the effect of, like, you can boo me if you want, but you either got to get on the bandwagon or get run over by it.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. It's just like Kyle Busch. I mean, Kyle Busch wins a race and nobody cheers for the guy. Everybody boos, just like Denny. I mean, Kyle's a little different. Kyle's deserves it, I think, sometimes.
He's an asshole, yeah. That's the difference.
But Denny's just, it's like Richard says, it's kind of that British thing. You gotta hate somebody, so we're gonna hate the guy that is really, really doing good, because we just he's not the underdog. He's the guy expected to win, so we're just gonna hate him anyways.
Yeah.
All right.
But
that was not a satisfying answer. I was really hoping there was like...
No, there's nothing specific. I don't think he never wrecked anybody. He just, he's a tough racer. Every now and again he'll move somebody when he needs to. But it's just they hate somebody for the sake of hating somebody, I think, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's, at times it's a bad look for the sport, and I really hope.
It was bizarre to me. Like, I was absolutely flabbergasted when Joseph Newgarden got booed during driver introductions at the Indy 500 last year. Flabbergasted. But this was like another level.
I mean, Denny at the Bristol race, Denny and Bubba Wallace both got booed during the driver introduction. We know why Bubba gets booed, but for Denny to be booed is pretty bad, really. I mean, and also, he's coming to the end of his career, and he's in his early 40s, but still driving as well as ever. And, if he does win the championship this year, which has got as good a chance as anybody, as good a chance as any of the 12, I hope people really do appreciate what he's achieved for for how good he is, because it'd be a shame if his legacy is this, sort of, as I say, false villain sort of thing.
Caricature of a villain.
Yeah, which
I
is
agree.
very unnecessary.
Yeah, it would be a real shame for that to wipe out his achievements. Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy's good. He's damn good.
Yeah, he is.
And
that's why he owns a race team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
With probably the greatest basketball player to walk the court. I mean,
yeah,
Oh,
without any help.
Was MJ there? Oh, dang! I might have missed the opportunity, didn't I?
I don't
So
know.
I'll
if
tell
MJ
you.
was
So
there.
when MJ is at the races, it's almost impossible to get near them. I was at a race, Homestead, last year as a Toyota representative working for Toyota, who supply the engines to their team, and I wasn't allowed in their pit area.
Wow.
I wasn't allowed to talk to him. I don't know, whatever. I wasn't allowed in their pit box because he was there. It's like, geez, come on, guys. I'm working here.
I had myself and my little boy. I took Asher to his very first race. We went to the Xfinity race on Saturday, and we had VIP credentials for that, which was really awesome. Shout out to my my buddy Alex on Ryan Ellis's car, number 71 in the Xfinity series. Really awesome experience. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that I had an Xfinity credential, right? And it was very, very clear that on Saturday, after the Xfinity checkered flag drops, my credential is meaningless. This gets me nothing. This gets me nowhere near the Cup Garage or anything. So yeah.
Yep. Get out of Dodge.
Yeah, I felt very othered on Sunday.
Yeah, NASCAR has a habit of doing that. They're it's very strange. Sometimes they're ultra strict with their credentials, and then other times just go through. So
yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird, but they know what they're doing.
So we have some big news in the NHRA arena. We talked about silly season in INDYCAR coming up, and with the NHRA, silly season is kind of it goes on 12 months out of the year. So the biggest news out of NHRA this weekend is not the race. It's Brittany Force, the fastest woman on the planet, is retiring at the end of the season. She has made the decision to focus her attention on being a mom and being a family and getting her family going. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think the entire motorsports world, it knows she's going out on the highest note she can possibly go out on.
Yeah.
Accolade after accolade in the 2025 season. And very sad to see her go, but I'm very happy that she's doing what she's doing. Very
I'm really glad. I'm really glad actually that you said that, Lee, because I was thinking totally obviously support her decision. As a woman, it's freaking sucks that that's a decision that we have to make to walk away from our career at some point to have babies. Anyway, that's for a different show.
That's at 12 o'clock tonight. That's the baby show at 12.
Yeah. But I was thinking she's walking away when she's doing so well. I was thinking it kind of sucks, right? But I'm really glad that you framed it in that way, right? That she's leaving when she's at her peak. That makes me think of was it Rosberg in Formula One?
Yeah.
Won the championship and then was just peace out, guys, I'm done.
That was the ultimate fuck you to Lewis. That was.
Oh yeah.
I think that's awesome, right? What better way to go out than A, on your own terms, and B, when you're at the peak, you've done the best thing that you can do. So I appreciate you saying that, because that
Not a
helped
problem.
me think about that a different way.
Thank you. And
But damn, she's fast.
She is. And so this segues, you talk about, Brittany going out on the top, and it's tough for women to make that decision to step away from racing to raise a family. And on the flip side of that coin, we had more news that a driver who did step away to start a family, and that's Leah Pruitt with Tony Stewart Racing, the wife of Tony Stewart. She stepped away last year to start her family with Tony, and they have, Dominic, their little boy. She is coming back. She is coming back. She is going to take her seat back in the mobile car that Tony is currently in. So she'll be piloting that car in 2026. That leaves Tony kind of in a precarious open question mark. The big news, Brittany leaving on one hand, Leah coming back on the other. And where's Tony going to go? What's his roles and responsibilities as a pilot / driver / team owner? What's he going to be doing?
No, let that dude go home and be a dad. And
absolutely. And he has signified that. He has made a couple posts that, hey, I don't have a problem being the dad, because Tony does have a lot of other interests. He has his team in NHRA. He owns Eldora Speedway for the dirt track and wing sprints. He owns,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he owns like four tracks. He's part owner of the World of Outlaws. Like, Tony's got a lot on the table, and maybe he's number 2 in points right now behind Doug Kalitta after this weekend. Maybe he's just going to go out on his high note, says, yeah, I can do NHRA, but I've got other things to go do, be a dad with Dominic and do my other racing things, which...
I mean, he's also not the youngest buck in the stable anymore, right? Like,
no, he's he's 50. So, and speaking of Doug Kalitta and Tony Stewart, Keith, you got that video for us that from this past weekend at Maple Grove? Gotcha, thanks. So we at top of the show, you saw Doug Kalitta and Tony Stewart come together. Doug Kalitta crossed the center line and bumped into Tony after they crossed the finish line, and their it was not a horrific wreck. It wasn't the most dangerous wreck I've ever seen, but it still raises some safety concerns. There's a lot of talk that drivers and fans and officials want a rule change, because they feel that since Doug crossed the center line and hit Tony, that Doug should not have pressed on with the race. Tony was forced to retire. He lost, but he also lost a race car, where Doug won the race but could continue even though Doug caused the wreck. So I think in the offseason there's going to be some changes where if you are responsible for a wreck, you may not be able to, and you win, you may not be able to proceed on with the race going forward. But
yeah, imagine if that had been on the other foot, with Tony causing a wreck and the other guy
Tony never causing a wreck. I've seen that. Never seen that before. So
that was scary, though. I mean, you're right.
It was a scary wreck. Tony flipped upside down.
Not the most gruesome thing we've ever seen, but yeah, like it was that. It's confronting, and when you think about how fast those cars are going, like
300 miles an hour is pretty quick.
Well, and I think Tony said that, like, he sort of blacked out at some point and doesn't really remember.
Yeah, he doesn't remember some things. So
but Tony doesn't remember half the things anyway. It had nothing to do with the accident.
Yeah, true. But let's get into some more about the race at Maple Grove this weekend, because it was the first round of the championship 10. We saw in Top Fuel, Sean Reed gets his first win at an NHRA event ever at the top league in Top Fuel. Now, Sean Reed, we have talked about on the podcast before. So 2 months ago, Sean Reed was in a very bad accident in Seattle at one of his first.
And this is the guy that lost a digit?
Yep. So he lost his pointer finger on his left hand 2 months ago. Turns around, drives across the country to Maple Grove, and gets his first NHRA win at his first race back. Now,
race car drivers are built different, y'all. They're crazy.
Yeah. I was going to say cowboys. You talk about PBR bull riders. Them guys are kind of cowboy. This guy, Sean Reed, he's cowboy. That's pretty tough.
That is wild. And I remember when that happened and we talked about it. You know, I mean, your pointer finger seems like something pretty important as far as gripping a steering wheel, and that we felt like there might be some relearning that would have to happen there, but clearly not. Dude's fine.
Clearly not. So congratulations to Sean Reed on his first Top Fuel win in NHRA history, and way to do it, bud. That's a pretty awesome drive. So, funny car, we saw Tony Petragon pull a win. He's been winless for 55 straight races. That's like in NHRA terms, I think that's 2.5 years. So he got a Top Fuel or funny car win this weekend. We saw the stock classes. Pro stock was Dallas Green. He's expected to win the championship, so he's kicking that off on a pretty good start. The other big thing that we saw was pro stock motorcycle. It seems like we talk about Gage Herrera all the time because the man just cannot do no wrong.
Never heard that name before. Don't know
never. Yeah. He
walked out of before, Lee.
I don't think I have. It's probably the first time for the podcast, but he is winless at Maple Grove. He did not win this weekend. John Hill won this weekend. Gage went out in the second round. So very surprising there. But again, Gage walks out of Pennsylvania without a Wally. Still Wally-less in the great state of PA.
Without a what now?
A Wally. So when you get a trophy in NHRA, you get a trophy, and it's a guy leaning up against the rear tire from a Top Fuel car. And it's called a Wally for Wally Dallenbeck. So that's just, hey, here's your Wally. And
that is weird.
Yeah. So if you watch it, if you ever get a chance to watch it, you'll be like, we're going to go to the top end for the Wally presentation. And there's, the driver getting his Wally. And the same trophy goes across all the classes. Like, there's no different trophy for any of the other classes. They're all the same trophy.
Well, NHRA is coming here to St. Louis.
Yes, they are. So maybe you ought to go see.
Maybe I'll go see Wally.
Go see Wally. Do not bring Asher. Please do not.
No.
Much. Wait till he's at least a young adult in his 20s.
But there are going to be people there with little kids, and if I go,
you're gonna feel bad.
Yeah,
no,
Mama,
I'm gonna
Mama Cub is kicking in. Yep.
I have been known to purchase earplugs and hand them to children and then look their parents in the eyes and say nothing.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
I bet you can.
And it scares me to death. But that's it from the NHRA home front. Back to you, Mr. Richard Uden.
Yeah, I think we're in overtime now. I think we've wrapped about everything up with a few little hiccups along the way. Audio issues on my part and pure stupidity on my part, but I think we've made it to the end. And Keith's got to step in. Okay. For the 2026 INDYCAR series.
Oh, we went through. I talked about it.
We talked about
it. If we just pull up the schedule very quickly. But I think we've.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as Jess mentioned, the big thing on that is maintaining the momentum post St. Pete. We've seen it in the past. The Fox do all the commercials, great, woo, yeah, this is really, really good. When's the next race? Oh, you can count the number of orbits of the sun by the time you get to the next race.
Right.
It's it's not great. So, really good move there by INDYCAR and Fox. And I think that wraps it up for this week. Frank, if you're listening, get yourself better, because God, we need you back on this show pretty damn quickly.
Please.
And, thanks. Appreciate that. And we'll catch you all next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks for watching Drafting the Circuits. Make sure to follow Drafting the Circuits on Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Drafting the Circuits is a Code Sinister One production.